Hello everyone and welcome back. This lesson is the start of a new section where we will be talking about JSON Web Tokens and their use for authentication. We are going to learn how JSON Web Tokens enable us to have a fully stateless server, but much more than that, they are the key technology for enabling third-party authentication services. They are also very useful in enterprise scenarios if we want to delegate authentication to a server in our network under our control without having to resort to pre-authentication. Pre-authentication is the term commonly used to run an application in an enterprise setting behind a firewall without any actual authentication. So the application just reads from a header what is the user associated with that request without any further validation. This header is usually filled in by a single sign-on system at the level of the company that actually identifies the user validating its password, but the application itself runs without any actual authentication. In this section we are going to learn a much better alternative, JSON Web Tokens. We are going to see how they enable the delegation of authentication to a completely externalized service such as, for example, Auth0. We are going to cover this in detail. Right now let's start by setting up our development environment. Let's first switch branches. We are going to do git branch -r and we are going to have here a list of remote branches. Here is the branch that we are looking for, named for-jwt. Let's then check it out. We are going to create here a local branch with the same name and we are going to link it to this remote branch. As soon as we have the branch here locally installed, we are going to confirm that we are in the right branch, so we are in the for-jwt branch. And before going any further, we are going to run a npm install to make sure that we have all the latest dependencies. We will be talking about which libraries we added during the course. Let's then start again the application. We're going to start the front end with npm start, and we are going to run the server in another terminal with npm run server. Once we have this up and running, let's quickly see what the state of the application is. Let's quickly create a test user. Once the user is created, let's now click sign up, and as you see, we still have access to the lessons data, we can still log out, etc. But this application currently has no security built in. Let's see why. We have removed the session management functionality that we have implemented in the last section. We won't have any sessions or session tokens stored in memory at the server. Our server is going to be completely stateless. So we have removed the session store and the session class. Let's take a look here at the create user route, the current version of it. So we are still creating a user in the database, so you could log in again with the user, but take a look. Our session token is currently hard-coded. We are still storing it in a cookie. More on this later in this course. So all the session management functionality has been replaced via these hard-coded values. So whenever we log in, we are still creating a session. We are hard-coding it here to 1. So essentially in this section, we are going to replace all the session management mechanism with an implementation based on JSON Web Tokens. The first thing that we are going to cover is what are exactly JSON Web Tokens? How do they work? And what do they enable us to do in terms of application security? Let's then start learning JSON Web Tokens. We are going to start with the demo files that we have here in the demos directory.